A narcissist is their own biggest enemy. Whatever happens to them happens because of the consequences of their own actions and their unhinged personality. It's not what you or I or somebody else does to them. No, it is what they do to themselves. They literally set their lives on fire, then blame you for it. They uproot themselves thinking you did it or you made them do it, and then completely deny the proof that it has all along been them. So I would say they are cursed. Sounds unbelievable. No worries. I'm going to prove it to you today. In this episode, we are going to take a deep dive into this topic and cover the spiritual angle of it. So stay until the very end. I'm Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Welcome to my channel. Today's topic is 5 curses that burn a narcissist's life like nothing else. Let's start with the first curse that absolutely destroys them from within: the obsession with proving I am better than thou. This obsession consumes them like a wildfire that never stops burning. Every single day, every interaction, every moment of their existence revolves around this desperate need to prove they are superior, they know more, superior to everyone around them. But what they do not realize is that this very obsession becomes their prison. When you are constantly trying to prove you are better than others, you can never actually enjoy what you have. The fact that you're trying to prove it so desperately means you are not. You can't celebrate your achievements because you are too busy comparing yourself to the next person. You cannot form genuine relationships because you see everyone as competition rather than human beings worthy of connection. This curse manifests in the most pathetic ways. They will lie about their accomplishments, exaggerate their successes, and tear down others just to feel a temporary high. But that high never lasts because there's always someone else to compete with, always another mountain to climb, always another person to prove wrong. The spiritual consequences of this obsession are devastating. When you spend your life trying to elevate yourself above others, you're actually lowering your own vibration. You're operating from a place of lack, fear, and insecurity. The universe responds to this energy by bringing more situations that trigger that exact same insecurity. They create a cycle where they need constant validation, but the more they chase it, the more elusive it becomes. People can sense desperation, and authentic validation cannot be forced or manipulated. So they end up more empty than when they started. Number 2, moral ambiguity. They do wrong things, make wrong choices, thinking they are doing right. This second curse is perhaps the most dangerous because it blinds them to their own destruction. Narcissists have this incredible ability to twist reality in their minds to justify absolutely anything they do. They can lie, cheat, manipulate, abuse, and hurt people while genuinely believing they are the good guy in the story. Self gaslighting. They'll steal your peace and convince themselves they were teaching you a lesson. They will betray your trust and tell themselves it was for your own good. They will abuse you emotionally and mentally, then paint themselves as the victim who were just trying to help you become a better person. This moral confusion creates a spiritual block that prevents them from growing, learning, or evolving. Growth requires self awareness and the ability to take responsibility for your actions. You know that. But when you cannot even see your own wrongdoing, how can you possibly change? The universe has a way of bringing justice and ensures that justice always finds them. They may escape consequences temporarily through manipulation and lies, but the spiritual debt keeps accumulating. Every wrong action they justify creates more negative karma that will eventually come back to them. What makes this particularly destructive is that they lose the ability to form authentic connections with others. Real relationships require honesty, vulnerability, and the ability to admit when you're wrong. But when you are living in the state of moral ambiguity, you cannot offer any of these things. You become isolated in your own delusions, and that becomes a life sentence for the narcissist. Curse number 3, eternal dissatisfaction, believing nothing is good enough. The third curse is like a black hole that swallows every good thing in their life. Narcissists are incapable of being satisfied with anything or anyone for more than a brief moment. You are the living example of it. They always need more, better, different. Nothing is ever good enough to fill the void inside them. They will get the job they wanted, then immediately start complaining about the colleagues or something. They will move to the house they dreamed of, then find a million things wrong with it. They will enter a relationship with someone they claimed was perfect, then systematically tear that person apart because they cannot handle the intimacy. This curse burns their life because it prevents them from experiencing genuine gratitude, contentment, or joy. They're always chasing the next thing, the next high, the next source of supply. But since the problem is internal, no external change can ever fix it. They always want to start fresh. The spiritual aspect of this curse is that it keeps them trapped in a heavy, energetic state. Gratitude and contentment are high frequency emotions that connect us to abundance and peace. When you are constantly dissatisfied, you're operating from scarcity and lack, which attracts more of the same into your life. They become energy vampires, not just to other people but to themselves. They drain their own life force with constant complaining, criticism, and negative focus. They cannot see the beauty in what they have because they're always hungry, always looking for what is wrong with it. This dissatisfaction also destroys the relationships systematically. People want to be around others who appreciate them, who can find joy in simple moments, who can be grateful for what they have. But narcissists bring this cloud of negativity wherever they go, always finding fault, always needing more. Which brings us to the next curse. They compete with everyone who extends a helping hand. This curse is extremely self destructive because it turns potential allies into perceived enemies. When someone tries to help a narcissist, offers them an opportunity, or extends a hand of support, the narcissist's first instinct is to compete with that person rather than receive the gift. They cannot accept help because, in their twisted worldview, needing help means being weak or inferior. So instead of being grateful for opportunities, what do? They try to one up the person offering them, thinking that makes them smart. Instead of learning from mentors, they try to prove they are better, more intelligent. Instead of appreciating friends who care, they see them as competition to be defeated. This curse burns their life because it cuts them off from the very resources they need to succeed, grow, and deeply heal. You see, we all need help, guidance, and support from others. We're humans. No one achieves anything meaningful in complete isolation. But narcissists sabotage these connections by turning every helping hand into a battle. The spiritual consequence of this one is that they block the flow of abundance in their life. The universe sends us what we need through other people, opportunities, wisdom, resources, and connections. But when you are competing with everyone instead of receiving with gratitude, you shut down the channels of blessing. You end up isolated and struggling. Why? Because you have pushed away everyone who tried to lift you up. They burn bridges with mentors, betray people who invested in them, and bite the hands that fed them. Then they wonder why doors keep closing and opportunities dry up. This behavior also creates negative karma with some of the most generous and successful people in their network. These are exactly the people whose goodwill and support they need, but they very methodically alienate them through competitive behavior and ingratitude. The fifth and the last curse. They underestimate people's capabilities and think they are fools. Narcissists have this deep seated belief that everyone else is stupid, naive, or incapable compared to them. They think they are the coolest person in the room, the most capable, invincible, the most aware. Everyone else is just a fool to be manipulated or used in some way. But this arrogance blinds them to the real capabilities, intelligence, and strength of the people around them. They underestimate their victims, their colleagues, their family members, their competitors. They think they can manipulate anyone because they believe everyone else is too stupid to see through their games. This curse burns their life because it leads them to make terrible mistakes. They take unnecessary risks because they think others are too dumb to catch them. They reveal too much of their true nature because they believe others are too naive to recognize manipulation. They make enemies of people they should treat as allies because they're powerful. These people have true power that a narcissist cannot even fathom containing with their tiny, teeny mind and body. And when a foolish narcissist pisses these people off and these people have had enough, that is when they destroy the narcissist, and the narcissist then says, "Oh, look at me, see what has been done to me. Oh, I'm the poor victim." It's a spiritual consequence that disconnected you from the collective wisdom and strength of humanity. When you think everyone else is beneath you, what is going to happen? You can't learn from them, you can't connect. You cannot draw strength from community. You become spiritually isolated in your own grandiosity, arrogance. What is particularly dangerous about this curse is that it leads to their ultimate downfall. The people they underestimate are the ones who eventually expose them, leave them, or hold them accountable in a way they can't even imagine. Their victims are not as weak as they thought. Their colleagues are not as gullible as they assumed. Their family members are not as blind as they believed. They create their own enemies by treating people like fools, and then they're shocked, as I said, when those same people rise up and reveal the truth about them. They plant the seeds of their own destruction through arrogance and contempt, then act surprised when the harvest comes. The truth is, narcissists are living under these curses every single day. Their time is ticking. They've created their own spiritual prison through their actions, thoughts, and energy. They burn their own lives down and then blame everyone else for the ashes. But the most tragic part is that these curses are self imposed. They could break free at any time by choosing humility over arrogance, gratitude over entitlement, cooperation over competition, and truth over delusion. But their pride keeps them trapped in patterns that ultimately destroy everything they touch. If you have been dealing with a narcissist of this type in your life, you need to understand these curses because they can help you see that their behavior toward you is not really about you at all. It's about the internal hell they have created for themselves through their own choices. You do not need to try to save them from these curses. They are the only ones who can break free if they choose to do. Remember, the best thing you can do is protect your energy spiritually, maintain boundaries with yourself so that you will never allow them to treat you horribly. I call them non negotiables, and let them deal with the consequences of their own actions. That's it. And you got to focus on your own thriving journey, which is what I can help you with in my membership program called Thrive After Narcissistic Abuse, which is just open for a few more hours. If you want to get in and start doing the real work, which makes the real changes, click the link in the description of this episode and I will see you on the other side. With that, let's bring this episode to an end. Thank you so much for listening and watching. I will talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.